America has more than 19,000 towns, and a handful of them don't behave like towns at all. They bend the rules, turn accidents into identity, and wear their oddities proudly. They aren't theme parks or movie sets, they're lived-in places with groceries to buy, porches to paint, and histories that refuse to fade. Some were born from clerical errors, others from stubborn jokes, a few from faith so deep it built whole communities out of belief alone. Each one shows what happens when a place decides to stop pretending and starts living exactly as it is. So today we're taking the long road through America's backroads into towns that turn their strangeness into survival. This isn't a countdown. It's a cross-country story about the power of place and the people who gave it meaning. We'll start in Michigan, where the road sign alone makes people stop for photos. Welcome to hell. Locals say the name began as a joke sometime in the 1800s when a settler told a map maker, "Call it hell for all I care." Most towns would have changed it. This one leaned in. Today, visitors can mail a postcard from hell, order a burger at the Hell Saloon, or even get married in hell. There's an ice cream shop called Screams and a souvenir stand where you can become the mayor of hell for a day. But the deeper story isn't about devil jokes. It's about marketing genius. When the town realized its name could attract laughter instead of shame, it turned an accident into a brand. Hell became proof that sometimes the best way to fight a reputation is to monetize it. But what if the thing your town couldn't escape wasn't a name? It was a fire that never went out. In 1962, a coal seam under Centralia, Pennsylvania caught fire and kept burning. It started with a trash burn gone wrong, and before long, the ground beneath the entire town was alive with heat. The streets buckled. Smoke rose through cracks in the pavement. Families left one by one until only a handful stayed, stubborn and loyal to the place they called home. The government shut down roads and removed the zip code, but Centralia still breathes. The church still holds Sunday service. A cemetery still overlooks the smoldering hills. On cold days, steam drifts from the ground like the town itself is sighing. Centralia isn't a ghost story. It's a warning about how the things we bury, greed, shortcuts, mistakes, eventually rise back up. If Centralia burned from the inside out, our next stop found a way to live entirely under one roof. Deep in southern Alaska, after a 2.5-mile tunnel through solid rock, you'll find Whittier, a seaside town where nearly everyone lives in the same 14-story building. The Begitch Towers houses everything: apartments, post office, grocery store, school, and even the police department. In winter, hurricane-force winds off Prince William Sound make outdoor life nearly impossible, so the town moved inside. Children take covered walkways to class. Neighbors meet at the mailboxes. You can run into half the population without ever going outside. Outsiders see isolation. Locals see community efficiency. Whittier is proof that survival breeds creativity. It's a reminder that together can be literal, a single roof keeping the cold out and the world close. But some people want the opposite, a life with no walls, no rent, and no rules at all. Out in the Sonoran Desert, on the concrete ruins of an old Marine base, lies Slab City, a place where people go to disappear, rebuild, or start over. There's no official power, no running water, and no rent. RVs, trailers, and handmade homes scatter across the slabs of cracked concrete that give the place its name. Artists, veterans, wanderers, and retirees. They all end up here for the same reason: freedom. At its heart stands Salvation Mountain, a technicolor hill of clay and paint built by one man over decades, covered in scripture and love. Every brushstroke says the same thing: you can live differently if you dare to pay the cost. Slab City isn't comfortable, but it's alive. It asks hard questions about what freedom is worth and what you'll give up to have it. But what happens when freedom shrinks to one person and one streetlight? On the plains of northern Nebraska sits Monowi, population 1. Elsie Eiler is the mayor, bartender, librarian, and sole taxpayer. She issues her own liquor license, runs the Monowi Tavern, and keeps the library in memory of her late husband. Travelers stop in for a burger, sign her guest book, and leave with the same thought: this one person kept a town alive. Monowi is a living monument to endurance. It proves that community can exist even when the census says otherwise. Some towns cling to one person, others to one word that no one can pronounce. Between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, a green road sign points to a tongue twister: Zzyzx. In the 1940s, radio evangelist Curtis Springer built a fake health spa there, claiming to sell miracle water from the desert. He invented the name so it would be the last word in the English language. Eventually, the government reclaimed the land, and the spa became a research station for desert studies. Zzyzx went from selling false hopes to studying real science, from pseudo-medicine to environmental research. That's an evolution few places can claim. But while some names are inventions, others were accidents that never got corrected. Whynot, North Carolina, was born from an argument. When settlers couldn't agree on a name, one farmer said, "Why not call it Whynot and go home?" And they did. The name stuck. Today, it's a pottery town where the joke became heritage. Nameless, Tennessee, got its name from paperwork left blank. The Postal Service stamped Nameless on the form, and the residents just went with it. No Name, Colorado, came from a survey map where an unnamed canyon and creek simply stayed that way. The locals later decided to keep it. 3 towns, 3 accidents, 3 statements about how little it takes to make history. They remind us that identity doesn't need polish. Sometimes it just needs personality. But other towns went further, turning mystery and myth into full-blown legend. Roswell's mystery began in 1947 when something crashed in the desert and the official story didn't satisfy anyone. The government said weather balloon. Locals said something else. Decades later, the debate still pays the bills. There's an alien museum, themed diners and streetlights shaped like green eyes. But Roswell isn't just kitsch. It's a thriving community that mastered the art of the unsolved mystery. Its real genius isn't claiming the truth. It's knowing the question is what keeps people coming back. And while Roswell thrives on questions, another town in Florida built its life around answers from the other side. Cassadaga was founded in the 1890s by a spiritualist who believed spirits led him to the land. More than a century later, the entire town still hums with that same belief. Wooden homes double as reading parlors. Signs invite you to schedule a session, not a service. Bookshelves sag with titles about energy, intuition, and connection. Some come for comfort, others for curiosity, but nearly everyone leaves quieter. Cassadaga doesn't promise proof, only space to wonder. But not every strange town was built on mystery. Some were built on a dare. In 1950, a popular radio show offered to broadcast from any town willing to rename itself Truth or Consequences. Hot Springs, New Mexico raised its hand and never changed back. Locals now call it T or C, a sunny town of murals, mineral baths, and memories. What began as a marketing stunt became a point of pride. The lesson? A single bold choice can echo for generations. But if Truth or Consequences turned a joke into identity, one Florida town made strange its entire way of life. Just south of Tampa, along the Alafia River, sits Gibsonton, or Gibtown. It was once the winter home for carnival workers and sideshow performers, human cannonballs, fire eaters, and strongmen. Zoning laws even allowed elephants in front yards. Today, Gibtown hosts the International Showman's Museum, a colorful monument to the people who made spectacle their livelihood. The banners are faded, but the pride remains. Here, strange isn't shameful. It's a craft, a community, and a culture that built joy out of difference. 13 towns, 13 stories. From Hell's humor to Centralia's fire, from Whittier's closeness to Monowi's solitude. Each place rewrites what it means to belong. They remind us that normal is overrated and weird is often just another word for real. If you take anything from this trip, let it be this. The strangest places often have the most honest souls, because a town doesn't need a skyline to matter. It just needs people who refuse to vanish. So next time you see a sign for a place you've never heard of, take the exit. Order pie. Talk to a stranger. Ask how this town came to be. The answer will almost always surprise you. Next week on Curious Roads, we're trading ghost towns for ghost runways, exploring America's abandoned airports and the billion-dollar mistakes left to rust, and the people still keeping their lights on. Subscribe, share your favorite strange towns in the comments, and join us for another story from the quiet corners of the map, where curiosity still drives the journey.